What is red?
Wonim red. Yes. So,
Wonim red.
Yes, exactly. Like,
first and foremost, don't listen to the ladies out there. They would come and say, I want a man who lasts 6 hours. Do not kill yourself. Do not ruin your life. It gets to a point in the use of drugs where you actually have to take the drug to be a normal person.
Exactly.
Instead of the... Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Untamed section. Today we have our brother Solomon. He's been here before. He's a mental health professional here in London, and he's going to talk to us about red. Let me just put it that way. He's going to talk to us about red. So yeah, welcome, Solomon. Welcome.
Thank you. Okay.
Welcome. What is red?
Wonim red. Yes. So,
Wonim red.
Yes, exactly. Like red. So red is a drug, and to be precise, it's an opioid, and it's an opioid that is tapentadol, like and carisoprodol that is mixed together, and tapentadol is an opioid, and then carisoprodol is a muscle relaxant. So the two mixed together in one drug called Timakin, like the brand name out there, red, whatever. So that is it, and it's kind of very much potent, like more potent than tramadol is. So that is red, and like the whole thing out there, red, yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that it's a muscle relaxer.
Mm.
What does muscle relaxers do?
So muscle relaxants are medications that are actually given to relax muscles. So like the name means, but then it's used in a clinical setting. So for people with anxiety, or sometimes during surgeries or after surgeries, and also some conditions that have got to muscle spasms.
Okay.
So this medication is given so the muscle can relax, but it's not licensed for use in Ghana at the moment. So both medications, the tapentadol and then the carisoprodol, are not licensed for use in Ghana.
So let's go back a few seconds.
Sure.
Red,
yes,
is not licensed to be used in Ghana. Whatever they are selling in Ghana as red for the all these people are taking to get high and all that. It's not licensed for use in Ghana.
It isn't.
Where are they getting them?
That's a big question, actually. So, there was this documentary by the BBC that people are actually smuggling drugs into the West Africa. And then in the video, the person made mention that our borders are actually porous, unlike Nigeria. So that should tell you where the drugs are coming in from, and then like it's kind of the influx on our market.
Okay.
So yeah, the majority of it is coming in from outside, and then how it's getting access into our market. That is something that the regulators or the drug enforcement agencies should look into.
Definitely have to look into. Okay. So back to my question about red and what red is and what it does and the rest. When someone takes red, what does it do? Does it work the same way as, let's say, taking alcohol, where you feel happy, I guess? You feel, you're not really worried about the problems of the world, stuff like that. Or does it do something else?
So people take red, or people take drugs for various reasons, actually. So someone may take red for pain. Some might have been using a painkiller for long, and then at some point they kind of need something stronger. And when they are introduced to red, and they kind of feel that is actually numbing their pain for them, they would kind of take the red instead of whatever they are on. People also take it for the euphoria, that they kind of feel cool within themselves, like that kind of high that they get from taking drugs. So some people take it for that reason. Others also take it for aphrodisiac purposes or reasons. So young guys these days would want to last for whatever minutes during sexual intercourse. So they would also take it for that purpose.
Okay.
So a lot of reasons. People also take it to mask their depression and anxiety. So there are a lot of reasons why people take drugs. Some it's just curiosity. They just want to try it. Others for their to boost their morale, self-esteem, or something. Others also to fit in. So like they have friends who are on drugs, and then they would also want to kind of be seen as a tough guy kind of thing. They are tough because when you have colleagues who are doing drugs and you're not kind of involved, you are seen as to be a weak link or something. So they would also want to kind of show that, yeah, they can take risk. Teenagers or adolescents are kind of involved in risky behaviors or taking risks. So people would also want to do it for
I
that
was
reason.
a teenager once. I liked risky behavior, but I would not say that drugs was part of the risky behavior. It's because my risky behavior was, let's go out, like let's roam aimlessly in the town. You leave the house, you go there, you play ball, you go there, you go to the poolside or whatever, at the time, we really used to go to
social circles like you found yourself in. So like if you have lots of friends around you using the red, trust me, you may be tempted to also give it a try to fit in. Because
I've had friends who used to smoke back in the day. That time, weed. I've had friends who smoked weed back in the day. I've had friends who used to drink alcohol. I never smoked weed. I never drank alcohol.
Yeah, so it's not like a black and white thing. Yeah, there's so many people that they can have friends who doing drugs and they may never, but it's more likely, or the risk is very high for people who have such friends to do drugs, unlike when you don't have such people amongst your social circles. Yeah.
So why would someone have to resort to red as an aphrodisiac? Because I think there are so many. Why would anyone would want to resort to drugs for sex in the first place, especially as a young person? Because that's your peak. That's where you're your strongest. That's where you're full of energy and all that. Like, first and foremost, don't listen to the ladies out there. They would come and say, I want a man who lasts 6 hours. Do not kill yourself. Do not ruin your life, your mental health, your liver, your kidneys, because a woman says she wants you to last 2 hours in bed.
That is the truth. So you see, I don't know how to put this, but there's this misconception out there about sex and how long someone should last in bed. Sex actually is in stages where you start, you get to the climax, and then like there's a phase of kind of a resting phase, yes, and then you kind of go in again. So it is in cycles. But the thing is, when everyone gets the pleasure that they want in sex, that should be it. And it shouldn't be kind of time bound that you should do 1 hour or 30 minutes or whatever. If the partners involved in the thing are kind of satisfied, even in 5 minutes, if you've had an orgasm and the lady too have had an orgasm, what's the point for an hour kind of marathon sex?
I think most of the ladies out there have unrealistic expectations.
Exactly.
And you see, speaking of mental health, going back to mental health, I think most of the ladies out there have had some sort of abusive experience when it comes to sex. Some of them have experienced certain levels of abuse, certain levels of things that are normal. And you see, one thing that is common is people who were abused sexually when they were younger tend to become sex addicts.
So it's either more or less. So some may
become sex addicts. Some
may not like it at all.
Exactly, some will become sex addicts. Yeah. So I think the whole thing about a man should last 12 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, whatever in bed, and that expectation they have is because of some trauma that they went through where, for me, I think it's psychological. It's more of psychology than a man not being good in bed.
Exactly.
For me, I take it as it is psychological, where, like, for example, a woman who wants a man to choke them, punch them and all that, that's psychological.
And some also kind of have some kind of fantasies that they would want to try, like, because people have heard lots of things. People consume lots of information and pornographic materials out there, and they've seen it being done. Oh, I would want to try like how it feels like, or what kind of gratification that gives. So
Yeah.
they would want to try and then take some risky, get involved in some risky behaviors.
Hence,
And so that's where all these things are coming from, giving people like that kind of unrealistic kind of expectations to do all kinds of things. So to last an hour in bed, I wouldn't risk doing that. Yes, and I would not encourage anyone to do that.
yeah.
Actually.
So back to the conversation. Back to the conversation. All these people who are taking or the red thing,
Yeah.
is it now? It's more or less become like something that it's everywhere now. When you go on TikTok, there are a lot of people on there. I mean, I saw a video where a guy put like 10 pills or tablets in his hand and was like, yeah, he's the king of red. You know, maybe a pie, what, you know, drank some juice, energy drink or whatever, and then felt like, yeah, I'm the OG. And for me, I felt like it sent the wrong picture.
Yeah.
Because if someone is watching, as you said, curiosity, like, what does red do?
Exactly.
Let me try red. And there are people who praise red and those drugs for their aphrodisiac purposes. They praise it for how good or how long it would make you last in bed as a man if you take these things, like tramadol and the rest.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, let me go take one, see how it goes. And they take it, they're like, oh, well, it can make me go an hour, 2 hours in bed. Then they start becoming addicted. They start getting addicted to the drug, and it keeps going out there and all those things. So I believe the image that is being painted about the drug or the what is being said about the drug has also got to play a role, because as much as people condemn it, there is also the other side where people are praising it. Like,
exactly,
it's amazing. Yeah. It does this. When you use it, you don't feel tired.
Yeah.
You have all kinds of energy. So there are people who feel like, I'm not going to abuse it. I'm just going to take one once in a while to, like sleep with a woman. And then, I think it should be all right. So I think there isn't enough material out there. There's enough information out there. I mean, I've seen some radio stations, and not TV stations, but radio stations trying to kind of like have some sort of education about the drugs and what it does and which is amazing.
Yeah. So lots of professionals have gotten involved with this, and I think when tramadol came in, people have actually tried their best with educating the public about opioids and all kinds of things. But I would want to say this, like on the back of what you're saying, like people start using it for certain reasons, and then it becomes problematic. So drug using itself is in the stages. We have the experimental stage where someone tries it for the first time. So when trying for the first time, that would depend whether you'd continue or determine whether you'd continue or you'd stop. Okay. So there are some people that when they tried marijuana, they actually went psychotic. They removed their stuff, they were running and stuff, like seeing images. And so most of such people would not progress to taking it any longer. But those that think that it gave them a boost in their confidence and or are most likely to continue. So they move on to recreational use, where they'll be using it most often for events, or when they've got something coming up, they would want to use it. So like they move from the experimental now to the recreational stage. And it also depends on the kind of substance that will determine how long you stay in the recreational stage. Because for marijuana, you can stay in the recreational stage for quite some time. For some people, maybe
probably forever.
Exactly.
Like
and then they go
Dog.
to the abusive stage. The abusive stage, they take higher doses. They kind of take it more regularly. And there, like they have the cravings, their mind kind of tells them that you need to, like, they have the feeling that I think I need to take it. And then they think they need to take it to satisfy a certain reason or a purpose there at the abusive stage. So they continue to take it, and then more and more. Then finally, they move into the addictive or the dependent stage, where if they don't take it, they are not kind of in a state of normalcy. Let me put it that way. They begin to have withdrawals. They begin to have serious or intense cravings. there's tolerance where they would need to take more to get the pleasure that they used to get. So they would need to take more of the substance. And there it becomes kind of they need it so they can be normal or to prevent the withdrawals. So during that stage, they're not taking it for the initial reasons or the high or the pleasure or the euphoria or to work off for the longer sex duration anymore, but they're taking it to prevent the withdrawal. So it becomes problematic.
Okay.
for them.
To circle back,
Yeah.
I want you to emphasize on this. You said it gets to a point in the use of drugs where you actually have to take the drug to be a normal person.
Exactly.
Instead of the opposite, where initially you were taking the drug to feel high, to be good. Now you have to take the drug so you can feel normal. Can you go over that for me?
Exactly.
I think it's something that I really find interesting.
Yes. So most people using drugs, particularly opioids, most of them, if you ask them that, are they kind of happy in the state that they're in? Most of them would tell you they are not. They actually want a way out, but it's kind of very challenging in our system to get a way out. So this is it. So when you start taking drugs, the body kind of try to adjust. The mind try to adjust to it. And then taking opioids kind of activates dopaminergic systems in the brain. And then the centers where kind of pleasure gives us pleasure. So the body kind of creates a memory for that thing, for the drug in there. So when you take it for a certain period of time, the brain is wired to receiving that substance to kind of give you that joy. So when you stop taking, or when the dosage that you're taking is reduced, the body kind of needs it, craves it.
Yeah.
So it sends you signals that you need it. So the receptors in the brain, there's something called receptor upregulation, where the receptor kind of expands or increases so it can accommodate more of the drug.
Yeah.
So your pain sensitivity increases. So when you haven't taken the drug, or when the dosage that you take reduces, you can have intense pain. Some people have running nose. Some people feel very weak within themselves. Others have cramps, pain. Others be seeing things. Others will be feeling like hot flashes. And so it's very much uncomfortable for them. Very, very uncomfortable for them.
Wow.
So most people wouldn't want to endure this kind of pain or this kind of distress, which we call withdrawals. So they keep on going back so they can feel normal.
That's something. That's
Exactly.
something. And
so addiction in itself, by definition, we say it's a chronic relapsing brain disorder. Chronic relapsing brain disorder that is characterized by a compulsive seeking and using behavior towards drugs.
so addiction is
Even giving consequences or negative consequences towards it.
Okay.
So people would have like that kind of compulsion to seek drugs and use it, even in the face of negative consequences.
Okay.
So
addiction, as you said, is a disorder.
Yes, it is.
Addiction is it's in quotes, sickness.
Yes, it's a disorder. So it's not a moral deficiency.
Addiction is no moral deficiency.
At all.
It is a sickness.
It is a sickness. It's back in the days that we didn't have a name for it, and then like we saw people who were using drugs to have a moral deficiency or bad guys. But now it has been classified as a disorder. It is of a chronic condition, like we have hypertension, diabetes, and the rest other chronic conditions. It is a chronic brain disorder that is being managed. Yeah.
Wow. That is interesting. Now, you said something when we were having a chat earlier about the level 100 guy that committed suicide. And you said most people don't understand. When these things happen, they take it very lightly on the surface. They feel like it's it's more or less like
a weakness.
And why would you do that? Why would you do this? More rather than going into what would actually cause a person to do that. What mental state were they in? Can you, go deeper into that? Can you throw more light on that?
Exactly. Yeah, sure. So it saddened my heart to see people trolling the guy on social media. And from my point of view, broken heart, we say it's no respect of like person's age or what caliber of person that you are.
Mm-hmm.
And the emotions that people go through, if you're able to manage your frustration very well, it's individually specific. Like people are able to manage various situations differently. So if you're able to manage it, it doesn't mean that I'm able to or I should be able to.
Yeah.
And something that I may be able to manage, you may not be able to.
Mm-hmm.
You may not know the kind of happiness or the kind of acceptance that they got from that person who has kind of rejected them. And some people deal or cope with rejection very poorly. So we should not look at it lightly that someone took their life and then the person is stupid or whatever, because someone may be going through like a serious thing that instead of us to kind of give the person open arms to talk to the person, we'd rather be condemning and criticizing them to take. Who would want to take their lives just for taking their lives?
True.
No,
Who would do that?
People
Something
really,
have to push them.
Really needs help. But if you continue this way, that the person was weak or the person couldn't stand, the person couldn't be a man enough, then we are not helping ourselves at all.
Yeah, true.
At all.
True.
And it's easy to say, hadn't been me, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't. No, you don't have to say that at all. Exactly. Yes, that's the point. Because yes, people are kind of going through some challenging situations and something can just kind of make it worse for them that they have no other option than to take their lives. Yeah. It's not a good thing to do. People are going through issues and then we should be supportive enough. We should welcome such people, encourage them, support them through whatever that they're going through than to criticize them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And anyone out there who is going through such a challenge, try to speak to someone rather than taking your life. There are other agencies out there. I think the Mental Health Authority has a line that you can call and then you can speak to a professional. If you don't want to go to the hospital, talk to a mental health professional, you can call their line. I think it's a crisis line that they have professionals available 24/7 you can speak to, because depression is real. People are going through suicidal thoughts almost every now and then that they need people to talk to. So if you think the stigma out there, you may not be able to kind of confide in someone and then talk to them about it, call the Mental Health Authority crisis line and then you'd find someone to talk to get help.
Wonderful, wonderful. Speaking of help, speaking of help and seeking health, you mentioned that you guys had what is it called? A rehab center back in Accra. Can you speak a bit about it? Where it's located, the services you offer, the name. If you have a phone number you can give out, you could. I mean, so people can seek help.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Yes. So it is good that people get the help that they need when they are addicted to drugs. It is very, very necessary. And like you mentioned, so it is Bantuk Rehabilitation Center at Damfa. That's Damfa, Accra. So
where is Damfa?
Damfa is off Ebri.
Oh, okay.
Of Oyarifa Ebri. You branch on your right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So Bantuk provides drug rehabilitation services, alcohol, drugs, both female and male. Yes. So it's a residential rehabilitation facility and they have professionals there to provide you the support that you need. They do provide the 12-step therapy over there. They do psychoeducation. They take you through, like they see you as an individual. They design a care package that would suit you and your recovery. They also have aftercare package that even after you have left the facility, they kind of check in, look after you till you're able to get on your feet properly. Because addiction is a chronic condition, we only manage. So at every point in time, you need that kind of support around you. And that is what Bantuk does. So wonderful. I would recommend that in case you need help, you reach out to them. And,
wonderful. That's guys. So you had it, Bantuk Rehab Center. Exactly, yeah. I'll put the number down below. You can give them a call. If you or anyone is struggling with substance abuse, drug addiction, whatever kind of addiction, well, that is related to drugs, you can seek help, reach out to them, and then they'll help you out. They'll help you. Mr. Solomon, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming through. It's been such an enlightening conversation. I really enjoyed the conversation. I really love the conversation. And I'm looking forward to having you more often and talking more and learning more about things that had to do with mental health. Because
thank you for having me. And before I leave, I think I would want to say one thing, that people out there who are using drugs actually needs our support. They sometimes need someone who would believe in them and then tell them that I've got your back, and then I'll support you. You can do this. Someone to encourage them, because at some point they want to just leave what they're doing. They don't like what they are doing, but then they also look around like people have given up on them. So why do I even have to do this? Who am I even trying to impress? And if they get that support from us, we should stop the stigma, because it's a disorder like any other. So the kind of sympathy that we have for people with hypertension, diabetes, should have same for them. And they do recover. Addicts do recover. Addicts do recover. So we should not see them as bad people, because like it cuts across all professions, all ages, whoever, a father, a mother, whoever could be addicted at some point. There means some people whom the drug was prescribed for them and they became addicted at the end of the day. It's not their fault. We shouldn't, it's not a moral deficiency. It is kind of something that happened, and then they need our support to get out of it. So I would implore everyone to show people support if you can, and do not make their situation worse. I would say thank you for having me, giving me this opportunity to talk about this. Because I talk about it passionately because I've been in this for some time, both in Ghana and also in abroad, and I've seen how it is. It is very hard when sometimes you meet some of these people and then they're talking about it, the stress and the difficulties that they go through. Most people engage in certain behaviors, even like sex. Some people even have to molested or have sex so they can be given the drug. So it tells you about how serious it is. And also have to rob
to get money for the
pocket.
Yeah.
Some people would be picking metals to go and sell just to go and buy the drugs. So it's not something as simple as that. It's very challenging. So if you can support, if there are NGOs, if there are some people who can support, get some people off the street, if the government can't do anything, support rehabs or continue with a campaign against drugs. I'd also commend the Youth Development and Empowerment Agency. They launched Ghana Against Drugs. They said stop. Red means stop. That they're trying to advocate and also educate people. So some of these campaigns should continue. Thank you. I think I'm kind of going over.
No.
Thank you very much for having me, Kay.
No worries.
I hope we're able to talk about it some other time to kind of enlighten people about this. Thank you very
this
much.
place is your home, so
thank you.
Whenever you can pass through and we'd have a chat.
I would really love to.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Solomon.
Thank you.
Hope to have you here. And guys, this is it. If you love the conversation, make sure to drop a like, share this video. It might help someone. And then, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. And this is the On Team session. See you in the next one. Peace.